Right, now, what you've got, look at the size of his feet and the size of that bone. You can see how thick set. And he's actually low to ground on the front, as you can see, if you're unsure. But if you saw the size of those feet and that bone on there, that is what you're looking for. On a dog and a bitch. This one is lighter boned. She's not what I'd call chicken boned, but you can get them where they're all pretty, but they've got bone and feet and legs like matchsticks. And that is definitely a no-no. But you need bone like this. You definitely need the thick, stocky legs, especially on a male. And again, you can feel the texture of the coats. This is a correct texture, a harsh top coat, soft undercoat. Yeah, boys. So, you know, I mean, it's just these little things. Is there anything anybody wants me to go over at all? To clarify or to...
Onko jotain, mitä haluaisitte vielä selkiyttää tai kysyä?
You know, is there any questions at all? Unsure of?
Voi kysyä ihan mitä vaan.
And do you understand it? Yeah. It's the main thing.
Oliko niin, Auri?
I was thinking about the level, top level, line, yes, line. Mikä on nikamat? Mitä se selittäisi? Selkärangan size, the bones. Is it wrong if you feel it, you know, the bones?
You shouldn't, normally with a very flat-backed dog, you won't feel the bones. The general reason you would feel a spine isn't necessarily a roach back, but normally a little lack of body weight, a little bit of substance, not necessarily. It's not necessarily a roach back or anything like that. So, should you feel the bones? Generally, you wouldn't feel the bones if they're fairly substantial and they've got the body weight on them.
Okay, so the weight.
So, yeah, you would. It is quite important because you know your rib cage is there, and it would flatten the back. I mean, you know, normally if it's well covered, you don't. I mean, this. You can feel the bone on all of them, and you can feel his bone, but he's got a fabulous straight, flat back. Yeah. But you can feel the bone, but you don't notice it when you're going over because of the coat. And did you feel it on him?
Yeah, I tried. Yes.
And can you feel the rib cage? Can you feel the spine on him?
Yeah, a little bit. Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah.
That's totally acceptable.
Yeah.
As long as the back is flat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not unacceptable as long as the back is flat.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for, a flat back. I mean, some of them, if they're overweight, you feel nothing. Yeah. Your dogs are nothing compared to that other lady's. It was cruel. The dog was so fat. I mean, it was awful. I mean,
what did they have pigs?
The one who was somebody there yesterday with a Pekingese.
Puhuttiin kirstikoirista.
It was so huge. I
I
swear it was that wide at the end, at the back, and that wide at the front. It was so fat. And that is, to me, unacceptable. It was to the point of being obese, and for an older dog, it's cruel. They shouldn't have to carry that sort of weight around. You know, I mean, beautiful dogs.
Yes.
Beautiful dogs.
Yeah.
And they seemed fine, but, you know, the movement wasn't great. They did need to lose weight. Yeah. Because I like a heavy dog, but there's heavy and there's fat. And yours are fat compared with what I judged yesterday. So there you go. I mean, he's certainly not skinny.
Yeah, he's in.
Oh, but he's to me. You see, I can get my fingers around there. I couldn't round him, but there's no way I can get my fingers. You know, they're over there. And they're not, if they're touching on the bottom, and one finger's there and one finger's there, right? In that stretch. Here, my fingers are on the bottom, and I can go right the way around his waist. So there should be that definition. But with him, this needs to come out so that you can see the definition as well. Right, do you want a grooming exhibition? With steadily, up and down. You see his back legs are moving parallel. He's going across nicely. And although you can't see it really well, you have to get, if you notice when I was judging yesterday, I bent down every single time he was come to me. I would bend down. And you can then see the back legs fine, but you need to be on their level. And you can see the movement. Although you can't see his legs, you can see the roll on the legs. Right, now you're moving fast. No, moving fast.
Yes.
There's no rolling action because he hasn't time. And that's what too many people are doing. They're moving him at that speed instead of a slow speed. You must slow your knees down. Next one. Again, you can see the nice kick at the back. Nice behind action. Cross. And you can see, because you can see his feet easier, and you can see nice. And you can see yes. You can tell. Some people get very confused seeing a lame dog, and they can't pick it out on their knees. I can see it straight away, but I do know people who can't see, when I'll say a dog's on sound, they can't see it because they think it's part of the role. But for me, it's obvious, and I would imagine for the majority of, I don't know about all-rounders, because they might think it is the role, I don't know, but a lot of people find it very difficult to see a sound Pekingese, especially one that's only slightly unsound. If it's very unsound, it's obvious, but if it's slightly unsound, it's very difficult to see unless you're very experienced with the breed.
Eli monen kielen ei ole kokemusta rodusta, niin on vaikea tunnistaa, jos koira ontuu tai liike on epätervettä. Sitä ei osaa tunnistaa siitä oikeanlaisesta rullauksesta.
I mean, none of these dogs move unsoundly at all.
Mutta näistä se ei vaan liiku epäterveesti, vaan kaikki liikkuu terveesti.
Really well. And to be very fair, you would pick. He could move slightly slower.
Niin taas on liikunut vähän hitaammin.
Slightly slower.
Vahvistuksen. Joo, otetaan vahvistuksen ja aavistuksen hitaammin.
Just give him slightly. You know, just slightly slower. But he still moves very well. You can see that he's totally sound. All three of them are completely sound. And that's what you're looking for. But the roll is slightly slower normally. It's a very difficult thing to explain. But what you can see is that all of the three of them are sound and all of them have got sufficient roll. When you get a bitch or a dog that's straight-fronted is when you get the more choppy action. And sometimes they will go like that rather than, but unfortunately none of these are going to be a bad example. And it's very difficult when you're doing a seminar to get somebody to bring their bad dogs for you to explain the points. You know, when I was doing this, no, that's unfair. But you know, it is very, very difficult for people to admit they've got a dog with a major fault. I mean, it's like this split wrinkle. I had a bitch many years ago with a split wrinkle, and they wanted a seminar. I said, oh, you can borrow Primrose. You know, she's got this. And they took one look at her and said, but she's far too pretty, nobody would see it. So they wouldn't have her because they couldn't see a fault to that extent, because she was a very pretty dog, apart from this wrinkle that didn't meet. That's what they're looking for now, but I don't know of any dog being shown that has it, and if they do have it, they wouldn't really recognise it. So, you know, although we're looking, the main changes we've done is definitely the nose leather. We've got to have more open. Lovely.
Eli tosiaan nyt ei saada ketään esimerkkiä sellaista, joka liikkuu tälleen suorasta ja ylipäätään koiria, joilla on virheitä, mutta nämä liikkuu kaikki nyt hyvin.
You can
Tuossa
see
näkee hyvän esimerkin. Hyvästä
when you
avoimesta.
pull the stock back, you see the leg. You've got your nose. See? And that is what we're looking for more and more, is this more open nostrils rather than pinch. And to me, they can't ask for much bigger than that. Seriously. Can they? Not on a Pekingese, otherwise it's not a Pekingese. In the 1900s when they came to Britain, they may have been slightly narrower in the jaw, and they may have been, you know, less coated, but they still had a totally flat profile. It was, you know, I've got a picture in the yearbook of the first dog that came to Britain, or the first champion born in Britain, I think 1930s, and the profile, the side profile, completely flat.
Se kävi heti kun
Yes, the shape of the face was different. So the profile was still flat. And how we can change that after 4,000 years of having flat profile dogs, it's not going to happen. Well, I can't see it happening to that extent. Again, we've got to do more open noses. That is vital. I've seen dogs with very small nostrils, very pinched nostrils, and breathing's no problem at all. I've seen dogs with big noses that can't breathe. It's not the nose, it's throat. It's behind, it's the elongated soft palates that is the breathing problem, not necessarily the nose. Yes, the nose would affect a dog that's, if it's got a smaller nose leather, and it has an elongated soft palate as well, and then you'll have more difficulty with the breathing. But it isn't all related to the nose. It really isn't.
Eli Brenda tässä just sanoi, että hän on nähnyt koiria, joilla on pienet sieraimet ja pieni nenä, jotka hengittää täysin normaalisti ja hyvin, ja koiria, joilla on iso nenä ja isot sieraimet, jotka ei hengittää, niin että enemmän se tulee täältä niin kuin kurkusta ja täältä kaulan rakenteista ja sieltä ne on siitä nenästä. Se ei ole pelkästään se, mutta totta kai nyt nämä rypyt ja nenät on ne, mihin meidän pitää kiinnittää huomioon. Että ne on tommosia avoimia niin kuin Davillakin. Sitä voi kokeilla kuvata vaikka lähipäästä naamaa, jos ei saataisiin, mutta on valaistus esimerkki.
Right, okay. What I was going to say is, if people want to go over them,
yes.
Can they leave me with the person on their own without the owner?
Eli voiko
Because if I want to point something out, I don't want to criticise anybody's dogs.
Yes.
But it's little things that I would.
But
that's up to the owners.
Yes. Voidaanko tehdä niin, että jätetään koira pöydälle Brendan kanssa ja siihen tulee sitten se kuka kokeilija, koska Brenda haluaisi niin kuin näyttää niistä koirista itse asioita ja sanoa niistä sitten niin kuin myös kritiikkejä, jos on tarvetta, niin sopiiko se kaikille, että laitetaan koirat pöydälle ja sitten hän ilman meitä käy läpi ne. Haittaako? Tai voidaan olla mukana, mutta haittaako meitä? Mua ei ainakaan haittaa.
I won't say anything nasty about
ei haittaa, we are okay.
I won't say anything nasty about the dogs. I really won't.
And the mother is actually Sven's sister. The Sven.
Oh, right.
So, yeah. Now they are all young bitches, so.
She's slightly closer together than the males. Okay? Now you'll feel that when you go over the back. Okay? Next one.
Miten se käy jotenkin olta?
Yeah, it's a nice compound. Yeah, it's like big habit I got from the boys.
Yes.
Okay? Right,
Hyvä. Nämä on 9-vuotiaat jopa. Year and a half.
Yeah, same.
Yes, yes.
Right, okay. You can see all of them look perfectly sound. As I said, all of those others look perfectly sound. Right, so all go over one at a time. 1, 2, 3, and then transfer. Okay. Like one. Here. Do you want any help for it? If she keeps still.
Ja niin kuin näitte, kun tytöt liikkuu, että nehän liikkuu edes vähän kapeammin sillä, että ne ei ole niin murokset ja ne on ihan nuoria narskuja, varmaan vähän vanhempi vuoden päästä, niin ne voi olla vähän alhaisempia. Tietysti ne ei ole niin semmoisia teinollisia.
Yes, yesterday she was waiting for you when you just there.
Very difficult to ascertain what she's like.
I think she also knows a little.
Tämä on uroisen tuossa punainen, tosi kiva, mutta toinen punainen on sitten taas tämmöinen oranssi, joka on monesti näyttää meidän asunnon.
But should the Liikkeet be
Tässä on tää on tosi kuulava.
Longer? No. 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 Ribcage should be any
Mitä
longer.
Vivianilla on tapahtunut? Kato nyt. Se on loppunut yhtäkkiä yhdessä, jos esiintyy tuolla. Tai onko se eilen jo? Mä eilen jo kattelin vaan sitä siellä ihmeessä niiden.
Se looks very naughty.
Yritetään tulla hankalta, se on ollut kivi meillä.
Se on niin yhtäkkiä.
Ai noin hienosti.
At least half it too. I count.
Koska tuo ei ollut mennyt onnittu tuo viime aikoina oikein.
Yes, but it's nice with.
Yes.
Jos te tuli hyviä kuvia, niin laittakaa
Joo, the problem with pictures at this stage is now.
Mä laitan niitä kyllä. Mä otin aika paljon sitä, kun tuossa zoomattuu sieltä ihan toisesta toiseen päähän, niin mä otin aika paljon sitä
Siinä
Joo.
joo. No niin, tehdään vaikka jotakin. Joo.
Tässä sitten vaikka tänne.
No, it's her. She wasn't. Well.
Ei, joo, eli se mainitaan vaan, että muuten pitää olla niin tasaisesti tälleen toisiaan ja sitten muistaa, että se on miten tiivis aina ei roikku lapulle tai muuta. Siinä ei sanota siitä, että sen pitää olla lapulle, mutta käytännössä se kuvaus, miten se kuvataan se syy, niin antaa ymmärtää, että se pitää olla ihan silleen aika jännää. Ja sitten zoomaan ei sillä lailla katsotaan, että pitää laittaa niin kuin sormi silleen, että jos haluaa kokeilla, että onko se alapuolella, mutta sitten voi katsoa hampaa, että katsotaan.
She's just at the most difficult age.
She's changing her color.
Yeah.
She was black, totally black, when she was captured.
Then she got brown as puppy fluff.
But grey is grey or white or something else.
It's very, very difficult. Because it's the reason I'm not fond of curly tails isn't it's aesthetically. It's not sort of something that I would sort of say, oh, it's not within the breed standard, but aesthetically, you know, a curly tail is a lot harder to groom the dog. It's a lot harder for the tail to sit flat. You know, when Michael walks, he's got a huge tail and it stays there. And it stays over his back. And if you've got a bitch like this one with a flat tail, with a straight tail, that coat, when she walks, if you notice, the tail stays where it is. So, although she doesn't have a huge coat, she doesn't look naked because she's got this tail, which is nice and long, and generally a straight tail grows longer featherings. So therefore, she doesn't look coatless because she's got the tail, which is straight. And that's why, but if that was curly, you'd have a bitch that's walking around like that. And look at the difference. Now, in a male, when they've got a big coat, they've got a big coat, it doesn't matter. But when they haven't, it is really nice to have a dog with a tail that is straight. And that's why. Okay? Sorry, if you've been... I'm finished. Right, swap. You don't leave this one.
Because otherwise...
Sorry, go on. I've got it. Have you been over the red one?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you've been through it?
Yeah. On nätisti. Älä hyppää.
She's still slightly
The teeth aren't quite level. They're a little bit, but he's more narrow. Yes. Yeah. Right, now see. That's true. See? Yes. Difference? Yes. You just need to know how to handle it. Yes. She's not that bad. She's acceptable. Yes. Okay. Nice cut back. But she is slightly narrow. Yes. But again, when you're judging, you're looking at the overall quality of the dog, and she's a quality bitch. Because all of this, with the litter, will alter. Absolutely. She's going to help.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one of somebody's dogs, and I remember them as a puppy, and it was very upstanding. She was slightly lower to ground. It was very upstanding. It didn't have much coat. 3 or 4 litters. Then it was not shown again until it was sort of 6, 7 years old. So with a huge coat. And it never looked high on the bed, which it was a puppy. But I mean, the body shape had improved. I still could remember, so when I judged it, I was afraid I could remember what it was like when it was younger, but it was better.
Could see as well as that. It's strong hindquarters.
Fractionally on this one, but they're not unacceptable for Pekingese. Pekingese aren't working dogs, so although yes, I agree. Yes, because she's got the quality, and sometimes you're looking at her overall picture.
And I like
Yes. That one's shorter. That one between there and there. And this is better.
yes, that's why I love it.
Yeah, shorter, yeah. What I would have said was not necessarily shape of rib cage shorter, but this bit shorter. On that one I said that was okay. And then being shorter. It's good to say. Yes. Okay. This is the sister. She's going to find similar. Isn't she beautiful? I had a champion. Whose my one was this colour? No, it's like dark muzzles. Champion the Tempest. Beautiful. 30s he came up to me the first time I saw her. He says, "Is that picture the same print?" I said, "If she doesn't win, then you can have her." She got the best puppy on there. Because he said, "I want the colour." He says, "The colour is just beautiful," and that's what.
Well, Percy did her as the best bitch in the international show.
Yeah.
Even she was in the
Because
junior class.
It was the colour.
Yeah.
He loves the colour.
Yeah.
Again, she could do with a little more weight on her, Seriously.
Yes, of course. This is coming after this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Both of these bitches will improve dramatically from having a litter. She's already got a good rib cage.
Yes.
She has different eyes. So,
A little bit more white showing on the eye.
yes.
No, I wouldn't. I think those eyes are perfectly acceptable, personally. I mean, again, you'll also find a Pekingese, if it's nervous or frightened, it can bolt its eyes without necessarily being wrong. But if they are nervous, they can sometimes, sort of look startled and bolt their eyes a bit.
Yeah, you've seen puppy classes sometimes the first time in the show.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But it doesn't
No,
mean
eyes
to
not-
say they've got
no.
protruding eyes. Okay. So, if I was being really cruel, I'd ask you to place them all. But I'm not going to do that. We do in England, we have to. No, the reason I won't do it is because there's too much similarity. When we're doing it in as a test, we have a definite best, we have a definite last, and in between. And I think when they're fairly close, the boys and the girls, it's not fair.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough difference in the quality here today to sort of say, well, that's a shocker and why, and that one's by far the best. And I think you need that for people who are learning. You know, they need to know what is 100% right. So just to sort of, it would defeat the object, because they could go, somebody could put this one first, someone could put that first, for different reasons. And it wouldn't necessarily be wrong or right. Because as long as they've written a critique and they've got their reasoning, they're all right. Maybe writing critiques on a couple of them might be a bad idea. Before we do that, I'm going to ask you a few questions.